This is a video about the Model 2450 interactive source meter for its output off states. What does that mean? Well, that means when the instrument output is disabled or off, it can have 4 separate states that it can be in. So let's just see what we can do with that. If you just go to the main menu here by pressing Menu and go to the Source column, press Settings. There you will see Output Off State. Now if we were to just press it, there's the selections. There is Normal, High Impedance, Zero, and Guard. Let's talk about normal. What does that really mean? When the Model 2450 is set to the normal output off state, the following settings are made when the source is turned off. The measurement sense is set to 2-wire. The voltage source is selected and set to 0 volts. The current limit is set to 10% of the full scale of the present current range. Output off is displayed in the home page source area. The source button on the home page shows the output that will be sourced when the output is turned on again. Even though the voltage source is set to 0, the source value may not be exactly at 0, and the instrument may source or sink a small amount of power. In most cases, this source or sink power level is insignificant. For passive devices such as resistors, normal mode should be sufficient to protect your device. However, because the limit current is set to 10% of the range, it may take time to remove charge from a large energy storage device such as a capacitor. For sources such as batteries, the normal output off state limits the current to 10% of range, like I said before. This may be acceptable for devices such as another source measure unit or a power supply. However, for devices such as small cell batteries, it can drain the batteries. In situations such as this, use the high impedance output off state. If we go to the high impedance output off state, simple to check. There it just goes to high. See? Very simple. When the high impedance output off state is selected and the output is turned off, the measurement is set to 2-wire. The output relay opens, disconnecting the instrument as a load. Opening the relay disconnects external circuitry from the inputs and outputs of the instrument. To prevent excessive wear on this output relay, do not use this output off state for tests that turn the output off and on frequently. The high impedance output off state should be used when the instrument is connected to a power source or another source meter instrument. In some cases, it may also be appropriate for devices such as capacitors. When the output is turned on again, the relay has a settling time of approximately 15 milliseconds. When the high impedance output off state is selected, you cannot take measurements using 2-wire connections. So that's high impedance. How about 0? Let's go to 0. See, it goes to 0. When the 0 output off state is selected, when you turn the output off, the measurement sense is changed to 2-wire sense. The source function is set to voltage. The source voltage is set to 0. Set the range for the presently selected range, turn off auto range. Program the voltage DAC to 0 and then the current DAC to full scale of the present current range. When the source output off state is selected, you can use the instrument as an ammeter because it is outputting 0 volts. The 0 mode is ideal for passive devices such as resistors. In most cases, it can also be used with energy storage devices such as capacitors and inductors. This mode will discharge capacitors under test and remove the charge from semiconductor junctions. The last one is guard. You just select guard, there it goes. Use the guard output off state when you are measuring a load that uses an active source. When the guard output off state is selected and the output is turned off, the following actions occur. The measurement sense is changed to 2-wire sense. The current source is selected and set to 0 amps. The voltage limit is set to 10% full scale of the present voltage range. And that's about it, talking about output off states. They're very handy. Keep them in mind when using the Model 2450 interactive source meter.